That's pretty cool, I think.
Most of that's not stamped, is it? So you would know what kind of,
I know, if it's not stamped, you won't know. I know, that is a
Yeah.
problem.
We have to
Right.
refer to the
so
list.
everybody buy a whole bunch of plastic and
No,
put it in the recycling so that way.
I'm not promoting that at all. But anyway, that's one thing.
Well, where do they send it? The school?
They send it to,
They're taking it to Winco, and then Winco is backhauling it. So the program that they're running at the Moscow Middle School is the
actually
same,
charter school.
or sorry, Moscow Charter School.
I'll pass these out while she's talking.
So you can drop off all of those same items at Safeway or at Winco. And what they do is collect them in the back, and they backhaul it to wherever their distribution center is. So for Boise, or for Winco, that would be Boise. And then once they get enough, then they send it to places that make plastic bags again, or to Trex. Right now, we have called Trex, and they're overloaded and they're not accepting anything, because the market is just so saturated. And the people who we send our recycling to said that they have 10 truckloads of this stuff waiting to be sent. They're not accepting it. So it's getting made into something else, like plastic bags.
I do want to say one thing before I forget, and that is Winco and Safeway both have places for plastic bags. You may have seen those big barrels that are labeled. Those plastic bags only get recycled to make more plastic bags.
Yep.
And if you really want to support the Moscow Charter School, take your plastic bags to them instead.
And take them to them so they can get a Trex bench. They're
Right.
really nice. We have one at the recycling center if you want to see what they look like. They're really awesome. We've had ours since 1995, and it is in pristine condition still.
If you do wanna go to Winco and Safeway, change a little bit. They're taking some of the tracks, but in the regular bin, you can also put the bubble wrap and
Oh, you can, yes.
all that
Okay.
other
All right. Yeah,
plastic film.
okay.
What was
so
your
they
question
take more
here?
than
Yes.
just a bag back.
Well, actually, I'd like to take a right-hand turn.
Yes.
Are there any items we are now recycling that you can actually make money on? Because I keep hearing, and you haven't mentioned, aluminum cans and newsprint. And I notice now at the recycling center that newsprint no longer has a separate bin, but aluminum cans still do.
So, newsprint and magazines used to have their own bin.
Yep.
But when we redid the change, we put them together because we would just take those bins, bring them inside, and mix them up. So there was no point on having to
So is there a
outside.
market for them?
There's a market for them. So basically, we sell cardboard just by itself, aluminum cans just by themselves, tin cans just by themselves. And then there's different types of paper markets. There's mixed paper, there's what's called an office pack paper, that's just really nice paper. So it just depends what we have being recycled, what we can recycle. But everything that's out in front at Moscow Recycling, that's mixed paper, is getting sold as mixed paper. Cardboard is getting sold as cardboard.
And do we have a market? I guess that's my
Is
big.
are you making money off of it?
Well, is there a market for that particular item? Because you said the others have go to this sorting center and do all that
Oh,
stuff.
yes, so all of those items, so at Moscow Recycling where stuff is baled separately, it's not mixed together. Yes, there's a market for those things and we
Okay.
sell them just in plain bales themselves. And they go sometimes just from us to the place where they're making more cardboard.
Okay.
Or we have #1 milk jug bale, that goes to a place that's just making, it skips the material recovery facility where stuff is sorted, because it's already sorted.
Okay. And aluminum cans?
Yes, and aluminum cans as well.
Okay. I understood the market was edging up for them.
Yeah, market is kind of like this.
So do I understand that to mean that although we have this wonderful curbside recycling, if we actually brought those things to your sorted stuff, you would be ahead of the game?
Yes, this is true.
A couple of things you mentioned, you bring this article, you get alternative, and I have a few copies, not enough for everybody.
Oh, yeah, this is really
Alternative
great.
ways to recycle plastics
I'll
and
put
other
this up
stuff.
here.
One is TerraCycle. If you go on the webpage, from what I understand, they have working relationships with a bunch of individual companies. So if you buy a certain brand of like Febreze, you can send your containers back to that company, you have to mail them. You can go to TerraCycle.com and they've got like 30 different programs set up for specific types of bags, most of their containers. I have up here, I don't have enough for everybody, but a list of alternatives you can do for plastics and other things. There's also a program called Gimme 5, which takes back number 5 plastics, which is the yogurt containers and a whole bunch of different things. So you collect those and mail them off. Moscow Food Co-op is looking at setting up a collection for that. They do have it set up so different businesses can collect and send it, and the Sustainability Committee is looking at how that might work. So that may be being available where you can take your number 5 yogurt containers there to be shipped back. This article is from the Moscow Food Co-op Community News. You can get online or at the co-op, and I have an article every month about environmental stuff. Quite a few about recycling and what you might do with this one's a current issue that just came out yesterday on alternatives to recycling.
We'll get her questions and then we'll come back to you.
Can you give us an update on a new recycling center? I
Can
know
we
there
do
was
that?
talk of putting it out by the landfill, and that's way too far.
We'll get back
Can
to
we do
that.
that a little bit later?
Oh, okay.
We've got a couple of other things to do before that, but we'll definitely address that.
All right, we'll get to your question.
So, two parts. One, the city has, I really like that they put that information about what they accept and what they don't accept, and alternatives to, you know, sort of the reduce,
Yes.
reuse, recycle, refuse type thing. The refuse part is not as explicit, and so one piece that's missing from that handout, and I think I've already shared with Tim and others about, is advocacy, communicating with those businesses and manufacturers who sell those products that are, you know, triple wrapped in plastic or something like that. And so if there's some consumer activism. The other part of my question has to do with the use of petroleum products to transport these petroleum products to other places that give, you know, create jobs in other communities and whatnot. So out of sight, out of mind mindset. How soon are we going to be able to find out what the additional cost is, since we're not able to accept a lot of materials that were previously recycled and now are being landfilled? What's the impact for customers within?
Financially?
Financially.
It's cheaper.
Well, what I mean to landfill.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and I just want to know how much more garbage we're putting into the landfills now, subsequent to the changes in recycling, since more things now cannot be
Yes.
recycled.
So we don't have stats yet on how much more garbage we're producing since we're accepting less things in recycling. But as far as financials, it's cheaper to put stuff in the landfill because, well, one thing, it's cheaper to bury your garbage. But your garbage goes out to LSI, we put it in a truck, and then it is trucked over to Oregon, to a place that is closer than where we're trucking our recycling. So then recycling goes from your house to the recycling center, and then it's trucked nearly to Portland. So it is cheaper to put stuff in the landfill, but also fuel-wise, if you're thinking about that, it costs more fuel to recycle than it does to.
So I know that, you know, that we're not able to resale some of these plastics now, they're just not accepting them. But you say it's cheaper, but what is it doing ecologically?
Well, exactly. It's not good. It's not.
I mean, they're out there trying to clean up the oceans now. Whales are dying.
I know,
Paper cups are dying.
haven't you seen that in the news? It's just awful. And so, what we need to do is not buy it. We need to go back to the people who are making these products, and we need to tell them, we don't want this in plastic anymore. Can you put it in paper or something else? Because plastic is just not the way.
All right, I'm gonna just say
Yes.
thank you, Steve,
Yes.
for this. I had a little activity planned, but I don't think there's gonna be time for it. I have a bag of stuff that came out of my garbage and it needs to be either recycled or go to the landfill, and I was gonna have practice putting it where it goes. But I think I'd like to have our other speakers come up first, so we don't
Yes.
end up with not enough time for them. And I do want to give Tim a chance to speak to the question that was asked about the recycling facility. So let's have Brandy and Louise come on up, if that's okay.
Oh,
Are you
yeah.
all done?
Oh,
Okay, good.
Yeah,
And
I'm available anytime for
Yeah,
questions after
this is a
recycling.
really good segue, because we just said, maybe we shouldn't even be using it, okay? And they're working on ways to not have to use it.